Um, all right. So, welcome everybody. My name is Giancarlo, and I'm going to talk about the liver in Chinese medicine today. I'm going to talk about emotions related to the liver. Okay. Um, if you want, maybe I can send you this material later, the PDF, so you can print it and maybe take notes. Link is going to upload the video on the YouTube channel, and you can take notes also later. And if you want to contact me directly, that's my email. You can add me if you want. So the first thing I'm going to ask you is to, okay, this is science, okay? So I want you to take away science from your mind during this presentation, because we're not going to analyze the liver from the Western scientific point of view, okay? We're going actually to go and to study like the liver from traditional Chinese medicine, from traditional Chinese culture. And the first thing that we're going to study is this character here, this Chinese character here. It's pronounced nu, okay? And nu, if you want to translate very straightforward this term here, we usually translate it as anger or fury, but it's more complex than that. So when you study Chinese characters, you actually need to separate, oh, thank you. There are different parts. And this character nu has 3 different parts together. So the first one is this one here, the second one is this one, and the third one is this one. Okay? This character here is woman, and it's pronounced ni. Okay? This is zhou, which means hand, and it's the right hand. And this one is Qi, which means heart, but it's emotion or feeling. Okay? So what do you think this character has? A woman and a hand and a feeling together. And what do people usually translate it as anger or fury? What do you think? What do you think is that?
The wrath of a woman. The wrath of a woman.
The what?
Has no bounds or something. The wrath.
Wrath?
W-R-A-T-H.
Oh, no. No, it's actually, this is connected with slavery. Yeah, it's like a hand holding a woman. Okay, that's anger. It's connected to repression. When you repression, yeah, that's why it's connected with slavery. Okay, so it's this feeling of being, when we feel anger, we're usually slave of our anger. Everything we do, every action we do based on anger usually has bad consequences, and we're a slave of those consequences. So that's why.
Does it mean we are slave of anger?
Yeah.
Does it mean the anger of the slaves?
It's both. Yeah, but it's more like it's also the anger of a slave, but it's more like repression. When you if a woman is a slave, she's not happy, right? She feels anger, but she cannot do anything. She wants to get free, but she cannot. So that's the feeling. You want to get free of it, but you cannot. Okay, and anger is explosive. It's when we are angry, we become very reactive to situations, and we realize we are aware of our actions after we already made them. So that's why it's connected with slavery. So what is anger? Anger in Chinese medicine or Chinese metaphysics or philosophy, all emotions have specific temperatures. Anger makes us flush and hits us from the inside. Okay, so anger it's hot. That's the difference with fear. Remember we were studying fear last week? So fear is cold, but anger is hot. Anger is associated with the ability to initiate movement. Okay, so everything that initiates life also. I'm going to get back to the 5 elements model here. To explain this idea. Okay, so this is the old model. Remember, we have water here, wood, fire, metal, and earth. Moving in cycles, and the earth goes here in the middle of each element to transform the Qi into the ore, right? So metal goes back to the earth and then comes out as water. And it happens with each element. So water, we have the north, right? And the winter solstice. That's what we studied last week. And in wood, we have, this is the east, and the spring equinox. So with double N. This. So the east is a place where the sun rises, right? So this is the sun, and it's rising, and this is midday. Okay, and because it's spring, it also means the beginning of life. So everything that is connected to wood and liver and gallbladder is connected to the beginning of life, to movement, to growth. Okay? So with heat, expansion, blood. Okay, so if we think about blood inside the body, why does blood moves from Chinese medicine? How does it move? It moves because of the action of the liver, and it also purifies and cleans because of the liver. So the liver is the one that starts moving the blood inside the body. Now, the heart warms it, but the liver moves it. It's because of that action. Okay. Tendons also, so our flexibility, our capacity to be flexible and to expand our body is connected with tendons, and wood, because it's expansion, to wood and the liver. When anger is correctly channeled, it helps us expand our lives and thrive. So when this element is healthy, okay, inside the body, when it moves healthy inside the body, it helps us to move through life smoothly. When it's blocked, if it's not healthy, it can expand a lot, okay, or it can be contracted. It's usually contracted in most of the people. We don't express our anger in a healthy way daily, and especially in women. And maybe that's connected with the character Nu. You know, when women experience what we call PMS, for example, that's liver stagnation, and it's connected to thick blood. Okay, so the blood gets thick because it gets cold, and because it cannot move. So when we have fear and frustration, which is anger, the blood gets thick. And also, This can lead to cold in the uterus. So what happens when women get cold in the uterus? They have, how do you call it? Like blood clots? Like, yeah? I don't know how to write that in English, but the blood gets thicker, okay? And also pain and infertility. So when we want to treat infertility in women, we work on the kidneys and liver. Okay? We get rid of the cold. And also, when someone is angry, the body gets stiff. Okay? So what you're going to perceive in patients or in people who has this cold in the blood, they get stiff, and it's very easy for them to get spasms or contractions in the body. Okay, so we grow like trees trying to reach the sun. So wood in nature grows and grows looking for the sun. And our vision of the future gets clearer. So if the wood element inside the body is healthy, our vision of the future is also healthy and clearer. When the liver doesn't expand and we get all these symptoms here, frustration, fear, and also depression is also here, our future gets darker, if I can use that word. We cannot, we become pessimistic, okay? And we cannot expand our life. As a general, in Chinese medicine, the body is like an empire, and the heart is the emperor, and then you have different roles. So the liver is a general in the empire. As a general, the liver helps us craft the best strategies to navigate and overcome life's challenges. Okay, so our ability to create different paths to get what we want depends on the liver. So if you think about the general in Chinese history, I don't know if this happens in other cultures, but in Chinese history, we have this like a cliff, and there is like a hole in the cliff. Okay, and all the armies are here, okay, fighting, and the general is here, watching, and sending orders to the army. So this is the liver. When the liver is healthy, we can give order to the rest of the empire. So that's very interesting, because one of the other symptoms of thick blood is cold feet and hands. That means the liver is not sending blood to the extremities. It's not conducting the army, okay, leading the army. Okay. So this is the character of liver. I'm not going to stand too much on this because it looks simple, but it's very complex in theory. I don't want to stand on this too much. Okay, and what does it say? What does Huangdi Jing, which is one of the oldest Chinese medicine texts, says? It says the liver merges with the tendons and manifests in the nails. So one other symptom that you can see here, I'm going to add the symptoms here. It's also weak nails. Okay, so when I used to work with patients and they have this PMS and thick blood and everything, I used to ask them, how are your nails, especially women, and they couldn't do this. It was very hard for them. Their nails were used to break very easily. Okay, and also cold hands and feet. Okay. So that's blood. The nails are the extension of the tendons. If our nails are healthy, it means that our tendons are healthy too. Okay, and the blood is flowing properly inside the body. Its governor is the lung. Okay, the lung is metal. Metal in Chinese medicine or Chinese metaphysics controls the wood. The liver is a general officer of the army. Planning and strategy emerge from it. So if we, usually when people thrive in life, when they have a plan for their life and they follow the plan, you know, it's because the liver is healthy. Okay, so that's yeah, it depends on the liver. And also connected to the liver, we have this character here that means Hun in Chinese. Hun is like is the spiritual part, is the spiritual aspect of the liver. And Hun is has two parts. The first one here, which is Yun, and the other one here, which is Wei. Okay, this is cloud, and this is ghost. So one other symptom that you're going to see connected with this character, it's emotional instability. Okay, in women, when they have PMS and they have weak nails, cold hands and feet, they become even more unstable emotionally. Okay, and it's connected to this, to the image of the cloud. Clouds change all the time. Okay, but it doesn't mean it's healthy. When someone is emotionally unstable, that person creates all these problems, or her problems in this case, are created by herself. Okay, so what we avoid, or what we try to avoid using Chinese medicine or different methods, it's that this person keeps creating problems for herself or himself in some cases. Okay, so cloud means emotional and stability. Okay, and you have two different spiritual aspects in Chinese medicine connected with ghost, with this here. The first one is this one, Hun, and the other one is Po, which we're going to study when we look at the metal element Po. Yeah, Hun is like a more ethereal part of the soul. It's more like cloudy, you know, lighter. But Po is connected with the physical body. And you have Sang Po and Qi Po. So you have three Hun and 7 Po. And they are associated with entities. That's a bit complex, but it's very interesting. So when people get possessions, those possessions are usually connected with the Po. Okay, so those are dark entities get inside the body when the Po gets affected. Okay, that's part of Taoism. It's a very interesting idea, but I'm going to talk about that. But if you want to study more about possessions in Chinese Taoism or medicine, you can study the Sang and Qi Po. Okay, and look at the Qi Po on the internet. They have different shapes. There is one Po that has one leg and no arms, and just this part of the body and the head. It's amazing. So yeah, that's why this part, which is lighter, makes the people, or makes the person become more emotionally unstable. Okay? So the idea is that we should be expanding like trees in life. We should be growing every day. Okay? Our life should be expanding all the time. So the East generates wind. Wind is also the other components of wood, and wind is connected to blood deficiency in the body. So why do people who have thick blood, they get spasms or contractions easier? That's wind in Chinese medicine. Wind, it's connected to spasms or contractions. Okay, when you are swimming, for example, and you have this spasm, that's wind. Okay, wind generates wood, and wood generates sourness. What happens with sourness? You know, in Chinese medicine, you have different flavors for each element, and in wood, you have spicy, okay, and sour. So, if I want to treat a patient with an stagnant wood inside, I'm going to give the patient spicy flavor. Okay. So, for example, if I want to try to treat PMS or any blood stagnation symptom in a woman, I usually give tanquay. Tanquay, you know tanquay? The Angelica sinensis. Yeah, it's very hot and spicy, and it activates the blood inside the body. Okay?
Is that spice?
Sorry?
Is that a spice?
It's more like a root, actually. I think it's a root. Yeah. And then if you want to, if the person is too, it gets angry very easily, you're not frustrated all the time, and it's, you know, like has a red face or has a lot of spasms and contractions, you can give that person Shao Yao, which is sour. And Shao Yao treats abdominal spasms, for example, connected to the liver. Okay? Sourness generates the liver generates the tendons generates the heart, wood produces fire, the liver governs the eyes. So that's why, you know, all these ideas are connected. So the general observes, looks at the army, watches the army down, so he uses the eyes. He has to be very, I don't know how to say that in English, like, he needs to have a very precise eyesight. Maybe I can say it that way. I don't know, like, he has to be aware of everything, you know. So it's not only the physical eyes; it's also the spiritual eyes. Okay, so it's the capacity to see even beyond the physical world. So usually when our liver, if we are young, if we are like, I don't know, like 8, 9, 10 years old, and we have to use glasses, okay, it's usually because our liver is stagnant. And if the liver is stagnant, it means that that kid that has to use glasses when he's young, it's getting frustrated because of his situation with his parents. Okay, so kids shouldn't use glasses. In the heavens is Shen, in humans is the method. This is a bit deep. I'm not going to extend too much on this. On earth, it is Hua. Hua generates the 5 flavors. Understanding the method gives rise to wisdom. Okay. On earth, it is wood. In the body, it is the tendons. Among the organs, it is the liver. Its color is green-blue. So, for example, when someone has thick blood, I don't know if you see any woman having these symptoms here. What happens in her body? What's the color of her hands and feet? Blue. Yeah. That's the color of wood. When someone wants to see, if I want to see if someone has any blood stagnation syndrome, I usually look at her lips. It's mainly on women, okay? I usually look at her lips. And if they're like blue or purple, it means the wood is unhealthy, okay? Okay. Among the musical tones, it is Jue. It sounds is a shout. So that's why people, when they get angry, they yell and they shout because it's like they are releasing all that energy. Okay, it's a way of balancing the energy inside the body. In the agitation of pain, it is hold or restraint. So when we hold into something, for example, why we become resented? Because we hold into something that is in the past, and we hold that anger. Okay, so that means when we get angry and the anger keeps going on and keeps going on, it means we're holding into a negative situation. So it's holding and restraining. Okay. It opens through the eyes. Its flavor is sour, and in emotions it is anger. Anger harms the liver. Sadness overcomes anger. What it means is that sadness in a broad sense doesn't mean I have to cry. It means I need to let go. Okay? So when I let go, anger reduces. Wind harms the tendons. So if I'm angry, they're talking about anger here. Okay? When they say wind, it's the same idea. When we get angry, our tendons are harmed. Okay? So we get stiff and we can get injured. Dryness overcomes wind. Sourness harms the tendons. Pungent, which is like spicy or pungent, whatever, overcomes sourness. Okay? So wood is connected with the connective tissue, with fascia, with tendons, with ligaments. Usually in martial arts, we work more on this side. We don't work on big muscles. We work on fascia, okay, and connective tissue. And what happens when we get angry? Okay, I'm talking about anger in terms also of, for example, decision. This happened to me before. That's why I'm talking about that. When I used to have my clinic in Peru, or when I used to only focus on business, I remember I was angry all the time. And I became very rigid and stiff, okay? Because I was holding into something. And I was expecting some result from that. So anger, of course I expanded my businesses, but I was angry, I was emotionally unstable. So angry and decision are the same. We can see that in most of, for example, high performers or achievers, they get angry very easily. It's very easy for a boss, for example, or an executive to get angry because they want to expand everything, okay? But that expansion is unhealthy. It's like a tree draining resources from other trees, okay? But what happens when someone gets into that state? That person gets rigid in mind and body. So what happens in the body? It gets knots, tangles, and obstructions. So usually when I used to treat patients that were, founders, high achievers, they used to have a lot of knots in the body. Also, high-performing martial artists, they have these knots in the body. Okay, and when you touch the body, when you start palpating the body, you can find this. It's very clear. I used a lot of palpation before on my patients, and all of them that were angry for some reason, they all had these knots. Okay, and that's because they hold into negative situations. Okay, so they want to expand the company, they want to expand the business, but for that they are doing that from a fearful state. They are always thinking about the negative, and they are holding into the negative emotion to keep the company growing. Okay, so they're holding into something. Sometimes they focus too much on business because they have an emotional bad story, okay, behind. So they want to forget, or they don't want to put their minds into that story.
Motivation. The motivation of that amount of effort.
Yes.
Grab something.
Yes, but sometimes that motivation comes from pain.
Yes.
So usually people that are high performers or overachievers, even martial artists it's very common on them. they have negative backstory. They feel sad, they feel anger, something happened when they were kids or when they were young, and then they use that as a motivation. But it doesn't come from a positive state, it comes from a negative state, and they are holding into that, and they expand from that negative state. So they are holding into something, and that's what creates these knots inside the body.
Harmonizing is a kind of a desire. It is not like directly, can specifically describe where my anger comes from. But even like do something good for the social, right?
Yeah.
But there is still some like desire. You want to change something.
Yeah.
That can be kind of qi is anger inside, inner anger.
Yes, but that comes from reflection, That comes from, of course it happens too, but it doesn't come from everybody. It comes from someone who reflects on his or her pain and then tries to build something new from there. But, if you go to, if someone is just focused on money and on building a business or whatever, and it's like this person gets very angry all the time, it's usually pain and sadness that's behind that. Yeah, but it depends on the person, So usually when I used to treat patients that, for example, I had a patient, he had a pizza restaurant in Peru, and he was very happy with his business. He used to do surfing every morning, then go back and prepare pizza, and he was all the time in his restaurant because he liked his restaurant, and he was making a lot of money. But he was happy, and he didn't have this because he was happy doing his job. It's a different type of business, okay? But if it's someone who just focuses on money, and this person gets angry very easily, it's usually because there is pain behind it. Okay, so vision. That's what Lin said. When you have some vision, okay, and you want that vision to become true, that's a lever. Okay, I have this vision. What can I do to make it true? Okay, and all the planning and strategy you use for that to become true, it comes from the liver. Okay, so that's vision. It's not only the eye as an organ; it's the spiritual eye or your vision. And the liver gets free of its anger when it learns to let go. It could be pride. It could be just when people do this. I don't want to get angry, I don't want to get frustrated, and okay, go, or whatever, it's like I'm letting go through my breath, okay? That's what happened. The liver gets healthy when we let go of negative situations, okay? When we don't hold on to them. And that's it for today. As I told you, it was going to be shorter than the last one. Is there any question? No? Yeah?
So, the complexity, in terms of letting go of anger, if you know there is something out, then you process it there. This is what is causing my anger. And you can, let it go in whatever way that works for you. But in practical situations, you put that aside because you have no mind, you have something more present. Then this anger interacts with the new anger that comes. And it builds in complexity. So when you want to let go, you don't know what you are trying to let go. Are you able to recognize what I mean? And Chinese text that talks about this.
Can you describe any particular situation when that happens?
Let's say road rage.
Okay.
So you're driving, and there is some irritating driver keeps cutting in on you, who's basically behaving very annoyingly with everybody else. And that's causing anger in you. I'm oversimplifying the situation. And then you have a conference call to attend. So from your car, you are connecting to that conference call. You put aside the road rage or whatever feeling that you have. that you have to navigate with this guy. And in the conference call, some people come behind your back, they have all got together, done something detrimental to whatever you're trying to do. Okay, so there comes anger. And then the phone rings right now, when you're telling people in the conference call, just a moment, because it's your mother. You don't know whether there's something like that. And you take the call, and your mom says, there's some problem, water's, pouring into the bathroom. I don't know what to do. I call this number, nothing's happening, please come immediately. Okay, number 3. Then there could be number 4, number 5, and that all these things remind you of some childhood situation where you are powerless or out of control. But it's time to go to work, you put everything on hold, and you're going to the office, and you're sitting and working. 2 of your team members didn't finish their assignments. So this is like a work day. And if you have 10 people on the floor, quite likely 5 people are facing this. They all try to interact with each other. They say rude things to each other. And that causes more anger. So where to begin, when to begin? When do you get that space to let go? What are you trying to let go? And for how long you have to unravel? Make sense?
Okay.
My question
So,
very well relate.
so the question is, what do you let go? You let go the situation, or do you let go the emotion that precedes the situation or that the situation creates? What do you let go?
Usually most people don't let go. It becomes diseases in their body. Okay, so they just suppress because there is some other demand on your time like that. And you make a mental decision of what to attend to. Okay, so suppose that person has a child. Child takes precedence over everything else. Child is her child. So you put aside everything else, attend to the child, take the child lost the problem. Or the building catches her. That takes precedence over everything else. So you keep on living your life, adding more and more elements, and the complex collective anger proves in the space. Then you start driving the evening, you're going to be like rude to the driver in front of you. This happens all the time.
Okay. So,
What do you let go?
imagine that you're a general and you're at war, and every situation that happens during your day is like a small battle. What would you do on each situation?
You always prioritize, but the underlying thing is not there. Like I said, there is a child who is not well, and you have to take the child to the hospital. That gets precedence over everything else. Okay, so you put everything aside, but you don't truly let go of the other things. You suppress them, you put them, pretend them in a corner. And after the child is safe, then you think, well, why am I not? And probably the most superficial first thing that comes to your mind, you process. If you have more time, you'll think about something deeper. If not, you're going to attend to the next highest priority.
Yeah.
And I feel many people get diseases because of this.
Yeah. So I have an easy answer for that. You might like it or not, but okay. You have this situation that troubles you. Okay. So the next day you want to solve it in some way. You want to confront that situation that troubles you and makes you feel angry.
No,
Right.
you want it not to feel frustrated.
Yeah.
You may or may not solve the problem. The problem may not depend on us. It may depend on other people.
Yeah.
But you just don't want to carry that frustration. Try to listen to music while driving, you do something to distract.
Okay, so why do you get frustrated in the first place? That's the question I asked before. Like, what precedes frustration? What do you
Some
want?
kind of fear.
Fear. So, what makes you fear to? What happens when you're afraid?
Because you have something you think should happen.
Okay.
That's not happening. Something else is happening.
You don't want
So
that to happen.
You think the future, something
Yeah.
you don't want to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you know, water leaking and pouring into the floor and your mother's well.
Yeah.
Okay, so your mind runs through, okay, the whole house is going to be flooded,
Yeah.
and, you know, blah, 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 mom's going to leave the house open.
Yeah. So preparation is good, but control is something different.
Control is the problem.
Yeah. So when you
Also
want,
control.
yeah. So when you want to control something, you get into this state here. And when something gets out of your control, you get frustrated. But the truth is that we can plan everything every day, but we never know what's going to happen, right? So, if, for example, okay, you can get stuck in the traffic jam, right, on your way to your work. But maybe that's something that has to happen for you to avoid an accident if you get earlier, and you don't know. So sometimes situations happen in our lives for our good, but we assume that they're happening for our detriment. Usually everything happens for our well-being, but we assume the opposite because it's not what we want. So what you let go is control. You know?
Loss of control is, there's an underlying fear, and you're trying to control some things to prevent what you fear from happening.
Yeah, that's why I think I said this last week. We need to learn how to be comfortable with the unknown. You know? Because we really don't know. We don't know what's going to happen in 5, 10, 15 minutes. How do you know what's going to happen tomorrow or in 2 or 3 days, next week, next month? I mean, you can plan, and it's good that you follow your plan, but you need to also be open for unexpected things to happen. And when they come to you, we need to accept that that's for our own good. And even if they make us angry, they are teaching us about patience, or maybe we need to express our anger at that moment or something, but yeah, it's control. You know?
Fear that you will be controlled. There's a negative cycle.
Yeah.
No?
But we're being controlled all the time. We're being controlled all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah. So it's a surrender to life. I think that's the, I think a healthy liver comes when we surrender to the existence. Sometimes we want to push and work hard, and like this is going to be as I want, and work hard. Yeah, it's going to be as you want, but you don't need to work hard. You just need to surrender.
I get that.
Yeah.
Those are past triggers, right? You've been hurt in a past situation. What's happening now is very similar.
Yeah, you want to avoid that painful situation. Yeah, it's normal.
So you feel angry. You are clear. So you feel angry.
It's sadness. Behind anger is usually sadness. Fear also.
Fear.
Yeah.
So the rage comes out of fear.
Yeah.
Sadness doesn't get.
Yeah. Remember when we were saying that? So you have water here. You have water, okay, and wood. So water produces wood, right? So in nature, if there is no water to produce wood, to nurture wood, what happens with the wood? Remember? It gets dry. So it's easy for the wood. Yes. Yes. That's it. So fear is here. Fear is anger, and it's difficult to say what's with fire, because fire is more like love or illumination.
Passion.
Yeah, but it's the opposite to fear. Love is the opposite to fear. I'm not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about
Passion.
love for life, yeah, passion. Yeah. So that's what happens. And sadness is the opposite of wood, you know? So what happens when someone gets sad all the time? What do you need to do? You need to bring that person into action.
Like the fire.
Yeah, like do something, move, you know? If that person doesn't move, it's going to be sad all the time and ruminating, thinking. Yeah, so you need. Yeah, because it's going to think and think all the time. Yeah. Yeah. So you need to bring that person into action. That's it. But it's control. When you let control, your body opens also. If you're controlling all the time, you're getting rigid. I want this way, you get rigid. And your body gets dry also. So you need to relax. Okay, things are not going as I want. I'm going to keep up with the plan. But okay, yeah, I'm open to the unexpected. Because that's going to happen. Even if you want or not, it's going to happen. All the time. Yeah. Okay, is there any other question? No? Do you feel angry today?
Not angry.
How do you feel, Link, when you
Lost.
lost?
Yeah, every feel a little bit lost. It's like every day. Am I doing good? Even like starting acting, doing something, but still feel like I'm not directly holding the string, holding the flow, but it's still out of control. I'm working something around it, and not specifically holding it. So I feel a little bit lost. I'm not angry. Usually I don't like feel angry a lot. In my daily life every day, I don't feel angry a lot.
That's not your constitution, also. Yeah, you know, 体质 in Chinese medicine. 体质, I think is that word. Yes, right? Yeah. So we have different constitutions. You know, the physical form is different on each person. So depending on the physical form, the emotions are also more intense or less intense. So for example, in my case, because of my constitution, I can get angry very easily. So I work on that. In your case, anger is not.
Actually, like it's not good, not bad. Because make me more healthy. I think maybe like I can let it go. But the bad thing is, it's not good for collective with this social.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
we need some anger to build our motivation. I can do something. Like I cannot let it go, but it's I must make it a success and like give a strong effort.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're more like earth, so you tend to overthink. That's the emotion you have to work on. But in my case, it's more anger. You know, in other people could be fear or sadness, based on the body, on the constitution. So if I get angry, for example, my body gets stiff, and that means I also need to work more on my flexibility. You know, and kung fu is also.
The triangle sphere. I don't want to think too much, but like I'm hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you go into action, for example, in your case, when you go into action, it helps you to not overthink, and that's good. In my case, I need to not to control. Maybe that's the word, but I don't know if that's the precise word. But I need to not push myself too much because I tend to do a lot. Because I get angry and I can be decisive the whole day and I cannot stop sometimes. So what I had to learn in life is to slow down and let go also. So it depends, you know, each person has different things to work on. But that's why we are here. We are not here because we are, you know, like Buddha and all lie. You know, we are here because we have to learn things. That's what we come. Okay. So each person has to learn something different. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Good. Any more questions? No. Sorry. Sadness. Yeah. Oh, which element do you mean? Metal.
So if I feel sad a lot, depressed a lot, I let go.
It depends. It's more complex than this. If you feel sad all the time, it means your metal could be stagnant. And metal and wood are connected, so maybe there's some anger that you are also not processing. So there is a connection between those two. Okay? And not also between these two. The earth, which is here, makes you overthink. So when there is an imbalance between these two, the earth also gets imbalanced. It's unbalanced. Okay, so earth is pensiveness. We're going to study that later. So, earth is usually, when we think that the character for thought, or for thinking, I think in Chinese medicine or Chinese language is si. Okay? So this part here, which is tian, it's like a field, It's like a field. So it means it's the picture of earth, putting everything where it belongs. So when the earth is healthy, everything in your body, even your emotions, are where they belong. But if there is an imbalance here on this axis, the earth also gets imbalanced. Okay? And it stops putting things where they belong. Even your food. Usually when you have the wood, an stagnant wood, your digestion also gets affected. And you get bloated, you get gassy, and you have pain also under the right ribs here. So there are a lot of symptoms connected to these elements. But sadness is metal mainly. Okay? It's connected to all of those of your elements. So for example, if you have a lot of fear drains the metal. And you can get sad also very easily. But the source of your sadness is not here, it's on your fear. Yeah. Or your lack of fire. That's very common in people. People usually don't have any purpose. They think they don't have a purpose. But we all have a purpose in life. And the purpose is in the body. Okay? Anything that we are passionate about is our purpose, actually. And it's made to serve other people. But people think, oh no, I don't have any purpose, I just, live every day.
It's fine.
Yeah. So it's like, there is no fire, There is nothing inside. So they don't have this fire. And the metal doesn't melt. Metal has to melt inside the body to go down, But the metal doesn't melt because there is no fire. We all need fire so the metal can melt and the sadness can, go away. That's it. Huh? Metal, yeah. Qi. Yeah. Okay, thanks for the question. Any other question?
What happens when you don't know the source of your anger, but the intensity is too high?
Your body knows the source. That's why we work with the body. There is this, I think I said this last week, there is this tendency in the Western world to solve the problems of the mind with the mind and the problems of the body with the body. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Mind and body are a unity. So we solve the problems of the mind with the body and the problems of the body with the mind. You can put mind as heart, consciousness, or whatever. Okay, but they are a unity. So if you have no answer outside, if you think and think every day about something that's bothering you, don't go outside. Don't go to your thoughts. Go to your body, because your body knows. Even for business, I have some clients, and I think I told you the other day. I have some clients, and when they want to do business, I talk them to not think about the business. Say, then do some meditation, feel your body, and your body is going to tell you if that business is good or not. It's like intuition, you know. That's it. Yeah. Any other question? No?
So where can we learn more about this?
About this?
Yeah. So is there like a place where I can see quickly like what is good, what is bad, what is bad?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can go to any Chinese medical text. Modern texts usually teach you this, but not with this depth, because this is a lot of years of research and treating patients, and also it comes from meditations too. But you can look for Mascioscia, for example, Giovanni Mascioscia. Let me put the name here. He has very like foundational books.
So the basics will be there in Wikipedia, right?
Sorry?
Wikipedia will have the basics.
Yeah, they have the basics. I had to go to, I used to study a lot of classical Chinese medicine texts. So I studied classical Chinese grammar and language, and I went into the Huan the Shanhan Lun, all the medical texts, and also texts from Taoism, and then all that information helped me to develop all these things, and also my experience with patients. But if you want to find something like fundamental, yes, you can go to Giovanni Mascioscia. I think it's like this. And also, if you want to explore a bit more, I don't think it's going to be good for you or not, but you can go to Dr. Wan Chui. I think this is more advanced, but you can get some stuff from there too. And yeah, I think those two. This is what we call TCM. And this is what we call CCM. This is traditional Chinese medicine, and this is classical Chinese medicine. So I studied this more or less. All of this comes from here, from the classics. So it's 1918, then partially 19, Shanhan Lun, Qi Gong, all those classical texts, and also practice with patients. That's how I develop this theory. Okay. Any more questions? No? Okay, thank you for coming today. And next week, I'm going to talk about the earth element, right? Thank you. Thank you. Like it? I like to know these things. I have the language barrier, but I don't know. If it was in Spanish,
There's a lot that relates to Indian methods and philosophies.